the start of the recording is just going to be you saying wing wing over and over with no context.
Sounds like a great start. So Kim, if you were gonna like introduce someone to comics, what would you recommend they start with?
I feel like it depends on how they decided to start into comics.
It's like
That is okay. That is very enigmatic. Is that the word? Like if it's an enigma. Anyway, if you decided to go into comics because like you saw everyone watching the movies, like Marvel movies, and you decided you wanted to jump on the bandwagon, then you would more likely want to refer to comics that are very similar to the movie.
yeah,
Would
like,
that be fair?
like if you wanna if you got them because of Civil War, you may want to read the Civil War comic.
Right, exactly. Although Civil War is the one comic that I wouldn't recommend to a
'Cause
new person.
It's vastly different from the movie.
Well, that, and also because it's vastly inferior, at least in my opinion. I know you disagree with that. But to me, the comics were vastly inferior to the movie, and that is like the first time you could ever say that about.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with this on it. I agree. The movie is great, but
It's very well explained.
yeah. Well, so okay, so what how would you recommend they start? Like, what's a good arc?
I mean,
What's your favorite arc?
if someone asked me, like, hey, I'm new to comics, for example, I've only watched Avengers 1 and 2, what would you recommend? I would actually recommend, specifically, if we're going to get specific and go into titles and stuff, I would recommend Matt Fraction and David Ager's Hawkeye run. It's just called Hawkeye, and it's about him and about the girl Hawkeye as well, but it's like his life.
Is this Hawkeye like the Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, or like is it a similar character in his Hawkeye, or is it?
It is very artistically speaking similar to Jeremy Renner and very different from the original Hawkeye, but it's very smooth. Like it's a nice intro from. It kind of like gives you Hawkeye's perspective on what's happened so far.
Get a hawk's eye view. Get out.
I'm shaking my head. just so I have to explain that. Like, I'm shaking my head
Okay,
in
so
disapproval. Go on, who what would you recommend then if it's without a Hawkeye view?
okay, the thing is, if you were gonna if you're getting into comic, if you want to get in comics, but because of all these superhero teams and all that, you see like Avengers and X-Men and all that,
Right.
I would recommend you go back to the old school X-Men and Avengers comics on it. You know the ones where they draw on like
Yes.
very flat looking with that kind of.
But you really have to kind of sit through all that art style.
The thing is, if you're okay with the art, it's good because it captures the spirit, and it captures the spirit of a cheesy team superhero thing. Like, like if you think about it logically, there is very little reason for these people to want to work together. Like, why would the Hulk want to work with anyone? Like, if he's that conscious.
I think if you're thinking of people who are unwilling to work with each other in the comics, it's very clear that Wolverine hates working with everyone.
Yeah, precisely. But he's on every single team. But that's
right.
Isn't
that weird?
That's more like an advanced course.
He's like literally one of the only superheroes who hate working with people, and he's in every team.
That's because writers love him.
God.
This guy does this one trick, and writers love him.
We don't have time for dermatologist jokes, nor do we have time for my hatred of Wolverine. So you should probably carry on.
Okay. Anyway, well, like what I like, if you go and read like a Chris Claremont arc of X-Men, for example, he wrote stuff like Apocalypse, he wrote stuff like the Dark Phoenix saga, which is kind of covered in the movies, but the movies like with Civil War, the movies are slightly different from the comic, but the general spirit is there. Like, you read it and like, this seems like a fun adventure. And then after a while, you start nerding out about, but if this person had these powers, then why couldn't they beat that person with those powers? Those are clearly inferior, you know, that kind of thing. Which is kind of what some people do anyway after watching this stuff. So
overanalyze.
Yeah, if you're into this kind of thing, it's a good starting point. And I personally just like starting from where things began. So I like seeing where they.
I get that.
Yeah. Like when I read webcomics, if I like the last couple of issues, or like
you can't just skip on everyone's backstory and start from the most recent.
Yeah, so I like starting from there and then seeing how it goes and seeing how.
Usually, I'd agree with you, but I can't stand old comic book art. I used to read vintage DC, so I read like all the comics of Superman before the current runs and all the like modern runs and all that, and I could handle it, and I don't know why.
Like your shirt right now, like that.
Right,
Superman
I am wearing a Superman shirt, but this is modern.
It's
This
still,
is sort of modern
it's still
art.
the old colour scheme.
The
and
old one. The old one barely had any features, and it took a while for me to get used to it.
This is like the close up of an old one. Like if they had
Stop describing my shirt. You can't hear. You can't see it. Gosh,
Anyway.
But yeah, but that is if you are looking at from movies and sort of making your way into comics from movies, and we're also avoiding DC because neither of us read DC.
Yeah.
But what about if you're coming in from like an entirely new, fresh angle, not from the comic movies, just want to get comics?
I feel like you want to get in comics, and you're not if you're not doing it because of superhero movies
Right.
or whatever, you are far better off starting with anything independent.
I feel like it would be a bad idea for you to step into Marvel as someone who's not coming from the movies.
Yeah. Like you could go if you're not very like. There's a lot of good comics that tell great stories with both the art and the words and all that stuff.
And they make use of the comic medium far better, I would say, than some of the Marvel comics.
Yeah, I would recommend anthologies as well, and anthologies like Flight, like this series called Flight by Kazu Kibushi. He compiles work by many different artists, so you get this whole range of styles. You get this whole. It's like a giant sampler of art styles and storytelling styles. And if you read through these, some of them, if you really like some of them, you can go and find the artist's name because the artists are there, and a lot of these either get published elsewhere or they get published online. Like they have run their own webcomics on it. Like I'm a huge webcomics guy. I started, basically after reading like one arc of X-Men, I got tired of trying to find them in the libraries and started reading comics online to fill that void in my teenage life.
I mean, I'm kind of a hypocrite when it comes to this because I did come from sort of the popularity of Marvel, and that's how I started reading Marvel from DC. But then I never went through that whole, I'm interested in the comics, but I didn't come from somewhere else. Like, I'm just freshly interested. I've never had that.
Fair enough, yeah. But
so I can't really relate.
I guess, I guess I didn't really start that way as well. Like, I did start with X-Men. I started with X-Men because, I can't remember why. I think it was even before the movies. I think I was just really surprised to see a comic book in a library. Because before that, I never thought libraries before were...
romance novels.
I was like... P6, so it wasn't even romance novels. It's just like I thought all books were pictureless, or they were. Oh no, I thought if a book had pictures, they were for children, like Enid Blyton. Like at best stuff like Animorphs and all that had a picture on the cover and had this little.
Wait, so X-Men was your first exposure to any comic?
That wasn't in newspapers, like non-syndicated.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because my first interaction with comics was definitely like in the newspapers and Calvin and Hobbes. But I knew comic books existed.
Oh yeah, I sort of knew they existed, but I never read them. Like,
they
didn't really count. If you're looking into, if for some reason you really like syndicated comics, if you're really into like
brands.
Brands is the right idea.
Corporations.
Like the newspaper strip style, the 3 panels or 4 panels in a horizontal thing with 9 to 12 panels on weekends, that kind of thing. If you're into that format, for whatever reason, go read Calvin and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing syndicated comic because the guy quit really early before he could get bitter and boring.
This is Zach's version of how things should go, and that's how he likes things. Is when they know when to wrap up, and then that's how he has a very good impression of them.
No, it's good to know what your final destination is with whatever you're trying to do.
That aside, because it's a very niche way of finding out whether you like something, Calvin and Hobbes is actually amazing in terms of like storytelling and like using the comic medium and its art and everything. It's just great. It's hilarious, but it's also really sad and really real. Yeah. And that's what I liked about it.
Like, they'll have these incredibly deep conversations, but the illustration is juxtaposed by them just like riding in a cart down a hill.
Either that or it's always undercut by something.
Yeah.
Even if it isn't visual.
So nothing, like, it creates a good balance of emotion.
It's amazing.
Bill Watson is an incredible artist. And
we're sorry if you like Garfield. We're not a big fan of Garfield.
Garfield's okay. I like Garfield minus Garfield far better than actual Garfield.
I don't like Garfield that much. I feel like it's just the same joke and then they put it on rewind over and over.
Precisely. And he's well, this isn't exactly an introduction guy, but apparently the guy who makes Garfield he's sort of the poster child for how syndicated comics breaks down the artist, because he hated what he was doing, but he signed contracts. He was contracted, and that's why
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle that thing.
So Arthur Conan Doyle got contracted to write Sherlock books.
If you call fans protesting on the street a contract, yes.
That's kind of a contract, I guess. Like
Yeah, like they wore black armbands and they marched the street for him to bring back Sherlock Holmes. He jumped off Roundabout, like yeah.
Oh wow, that's spoilers. Spoilers.
Not the BBC.
Spoilers.
The original Sherlock Holmes. But we've deviated from the subject.
They're Sherlock comics. I'm pretty sure they're Sherlock
I'm
comics.
sure they are, but I haven't read them. What I have read
I've seen a Sherlock manga.
Have you?
I haven't read it, but it's basically the BBC series, but illustrated manga style.
I've always wanted to read manga, but I never got into. So if anyone's going to do a podcast on introductory to manga, go ahead. I can't seem to find them. Like, where is the fairy tale English one? I can't find any of them.
Yeah, not.
But
not
if
really.
you are coming from not anime but a TV series, we both would recommend Buffy.
Oh yeah, like if
Buffy's an excellent way of like a TV that can genuinely translate to comic books.
like if you happen to watch Buffy the TV series and you did not know that there are comics, you should totally
There
go read
are
the comics.
comics.
Because the comic arcs are basically titled Season 7, 8 and 9.
They did not hide the fact that they came from a TV show.
Yeah.
Like they weren't trying to break new ground.
Sorry, not season 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10.
They had
'Cause
7?
They had 7 seasons of TV.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're like the writing team from Buffy the show was like, oh, but we still want to continue it. There's still a bit more to tell. There's more.
Yes. That's always how it starts.
Yeah, so they decided to tell it through the comic medium because this way they wouldn't have to get all the
No budget.
actors back, and they can do far larger scale things than they could with like crappy CGI.
And the thing about comics is that they're timeless. It's like how many years have you read Deadpool and he's still 30 years old? So it's like you can write this for so many years and James Masters doesn't have to sub in to say that he's too old to play Spike. Because you can just draw him however you want.
Yeah, and well, now that speaking of timeless, one thing that I do like about comics is, it's okay. You know, like when you're watching a show, and then on television, people move. Sometimes you don't capture the entire scene because there's too much going on at once. Like, oh, action happened. Oh, how did that guy get away? How did he?
Right.
Sometimes where did the sleight of hand come in?
Too quickly or too
Yeah.
complicatedly.
And in film, it's like a deliberate choice. Sometimes, like, oh, he moved so fast, no one knew, and then later there's a big review as to how he pulled off that trick or whatever. Right? But in comics, because your frame is frozen, your frame is eternal, and movement is shown by the lack. They show movement by the gaps between things happening. Basically, like if you see a guy wearing a hat and then you see him with his hat in his hand, you assume that he took his hat off. Like
That is the basis of the comic book medium. Yes.
Yeah, precisely. So because these frames are eternal,
you cannot escape
they're timeless.
showing action.
Yeah, they're timeless. You can catch. Some artists will deliberately put a lot of little nuanced things in the background for you to pick up on, for you to for you to see, and sometimes these things factor in later. Sometimes they just value add to the scene itself. And sometimes it's just nice to like you read certain things or you could look at certain things and you're like, wow, this is beautiful, and you're not really
Wow, this is beautiful.
yeah.
I don't know. I have an appreciation for comics, but I tend to be very careless when reading them. So I tend to miss a lot of things in the background, and it has to be explained to me later in text.
Oh, you're a text person.
I am mostly a text person, yes.
Yeah,
Unless like a frame is drawn very detailed and it's very pretty, that's when I pay attention. But other than that, I'm more of a dialogue person.
No, that's true though. Like that is one of the artist tricks to bring more attention to the thing. Like they do close-ups or they do a larger panel than normal, and then they can put in all these extra things.
I think one of the comic this isn't very introductory. We've sort of deviated, but one of the websites that do this very well for comics is Marvel, because when you read comics online, they have the action, like they introduce certain elements of their drawing later than they would. Because you know how when you read a comic, it's just all there.
Your entire page is there straight away.
Right, yeah, but they introduce little elements at different times so that you get the feeling of action without actually seeing the action.
Yeah, and
that's great.
Yeah, that's a good use of of putting comics in digital medium. Like you can control what appears first as well, which pushes it a bit closer to let's say film.
I suppose, yeah. But it's still a comic form.
Yeah, pretty primarily, and I guess an advantage of that as well is that you get around like. If you're used to reading left to right, then suddenly you pick up a manga and you're like, what's going on? What's happening? Because you read it the wrong way. You can never do that wrong in a digital medium.
because they're guiding you.
Yeah, if they guide you, but if it's just like
If it's just like a PDF,
yeah, if it's just a PDF, then you get nothing.
probably not.
You'll probably still read it wrong, like what's going on?
No, you wouldn't. It'd be paginated. Like
He got unstabbed.
yeah, because then at that point you'd be like, what? What just happened? I don't understand. Why is he getting unstabbed?
This whole book is Benjamin Buttoning.
Yes, that's exactly how Benjamin Button works.
Did you know that that manga was made as an experiment in telling every story Benjamin Button style? They tell it to you from the end to the start.
Was it actually?
No.
Okay, I've never watched Benjamin Button. I have no idea what everyone's talking about. I only know he ages in reverse, but that's pretty much all.
That's pretty much the point.
Yeah, but I don't get it.
They're just telling
What
you.
was the story?
The story-
Was Brad Pitt in it? Wait, Benjamin Button's Brad Pitt, right?
Maybe?
Oh my god, I have no idea.
I think so.
At any point, we can Google this, but we're not going to.
Maybe we do that like next week.
Next week is Benjamin Button Brad Pitt. Who is Brad Pitt? Find out.
And then we do the entire show in reverse.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and we do the entire show by Angelina Jolie.
What?
She's great.
No, wait, what's the entire show by Angelina Jolie?
About Angelina Jolie.
Oh.
Is he still married to Angelina Jolie?
I think so.
Is her name Angelina Jolie?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I'm like, is it Angelina or Angeline? That is
Close.
one of my problems. I don't know why I can't just accept.
An easy way to do this would be like, are you Angelina? When they start like giving a face. It's how gypsies like always tell you your fortune correctly. They like cold read you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna adopt gypsy methodology in my social interactions.
Okay. So
I think that's enough advice. We should stop.
yeah. Well, if you're interested in learning more about comics, like,
Don't call us. Just do your own research. We're not gonna talk about comics again.
I wouldn't mind. Just let us know in the comments.
What comments?
Like and share,
Subscribe.
reblog,
Tumble.
double tap out faces.
What faces?